circle of weather, something that we're kind of going through right now. We're just experiencing everything all at once.
Yeah, we had the heat previously. Now we're dealing with the stormier weather. And boy, was it a stormy day just outside of Albuquerque. A funnel cloud report above and beyond the Sandias, thanks to Luke Owens, who sent this in yesterday afternoon of a funnel cloud. And this was kind of very brief as it formed. It then started to rope back up into the main thunderstorm cloud base there. So either way, a bit of a turbulent day yesterday in terms of the weather, and those clouds still remaining over the Sandias. Bubbly clouds signifying that we do have plenty of moisture, not only aloft but at the surface of the mountains of the Sandias, and even a bit humid here in downtown Albuquerque. Our humidity value 60%. Bit of a cooler morning, 66 degrees. Lighter east-southeasterly wind at 7 miles per hour. A 66-mile-per-hour wind gust reported yesterday at the Sunports. So much calmer compared to what we saw yesterday afternoon. 44 degrees, a bit chilly there in Alamosa, 57 in Taos, now 52 in Santa Fe because of clear skies aloft for some areas. That's allowing for radiational cooling this morning. 64 in Tucumcari, 70 in Roswell. A little bit cloudy, a little bit breezy out there. 53 in the reserve, 64 at Farmington, and 68 right now in Alamogordo. Most of the thunderstorms from yesterday have dissipated, but whatever is left over is weakening, moving through the Santa Rosa area just to the east of Las Vegas and Mora. We do have to watch out for more flash flooding storms today, but a less likely threat of that today. And more leftover showers dissipating in the Sacramento Mountains. More showers in far southeast New Mexico near Jow. We'll see more of those storms from the Permian Basin moving into the Pecos River Valley. Flash flooding storms still very likely today in southeast New Mexico. Spottier showers and storms in the San Mateo Mountains, the Jemez Mountains, the San Juan Mountains, and even near the Oregon Mountains to the Gila National Forest, descending close to the Minnetonka Valley near Silver City, but this time far to the west. So most of New Mexico today will actually be, despite cloudier and cooler, a little bit drier in terms of rainfall. Most of the storms in the mountains will be to the north, and in the valley locations in southeast New Mexico, Carlsbad and Hobbs, even Roswell, will likely be wet today. In Eddy and Lee counties, flash flood watches in effect until this afternoon, including Hobbs, Eunice, Jow, Carlsbad, Artesia. A wet go and much more rainfall, not only today, but even as we head throughout the next couple of days after today. Here in Albuquerque, mostly cloudy with a high temperature only barely getting to right around 83, 84. Fewer storms, cooler, more humid and breezy. We may not even receive a thunderstorm in Albuquerque, just like what we saw yesterday. So this week, we are going to be cooler in the 80s today in Albuquerque. May not be even reaching the 80s in Santa Fe. 70s in southeast New Mexico. 80s in Deming, and low 90s in Farmington, 70s in Raton, and high 60s. So generally a cooler day, a more humid day, but not quite as much rainfall. Thankfully, a lower chance of burn scar flash flooding today. Weak upper level winds for eastern New Mexico, picking up one from the southwest later this week, which will allow for more storms in the western areas to move to the north and east from the Gila National Forest into the northern mountains. And still very slow moving showers and storms in southeast New Mexico. Not that strong, but because of the slow movement in the storms tomorrow and Thursday, again, there is that flash flooding threat. Then on 4th of July, drier and sunnier and hotter as a result. But speaking of rainfall, an additional 1 to 3 inches of rain near Carlsbad, Roswell, Hobbs, and lower amounts in the Ruidoso area, thankfully, and not much more rainfall in the Rio Grande Valley. In the San Juan Mountain communities, locally close to a 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of rain. A slight chance of storms today in places like Durango, a better chance on Thursday. Then after that, we'll start to heat up and dry out starting on 4th of July into 4th of July weekend. Augusta Springs, you may not even reach 80 degrees today, but near 90 in Farmington, Chinle to Cuba. A greater chance of storms, but they'll be relatively weak, spottier in nature compared to what we saw yesterday in the central and eastern parts of New Mexico. Glenwood, Silver City, and Alamogordo. A lower chance of rain today, but to the western Glenwood, that's where storms will be most likely firing off in Arizona. And Deming, we had a haboob yesterday because of storms kicking up dust. There's still that slight chance of that today. Cloudcroft, 59 or around 60 for a high temperature. Ruidoso in the 60s. Artesia and Hobbs, it's the hottest part of the year, only in the 70s today, but much hotter this 4th of July weekend. Clayton, Mora, and Las Vegas could actually be just as warm as compared to your southeast neighbors. Still very humid, but not too stormy out there in the northeast highlands. Even in the northern mountains, very spotty showers and storms. Santa Fe, Espanola, on either side of 80 today. More chances of rain for the next few days. Moriarty, Estancia, Cedar Crest, To from Rio Rancho, Belen, Albuquerque, pretty cloudy. Most of the storms in the Sandias, but fewer and farther between. In the Rio Grande Valley, it does look like it'll be mostly dry. I just put a very slight chance of rain today in Albuquerque. A little bit warmer and drier tomorrow, a much better chance of rain on Thursday. But 4th of July on Friday into the weekend, 90s and not too breezy.
Looks like we're trying to stay cool as a cucumber in the meantime until
Cool
Friday.
as a cucumber, I like that.
Yeah, until Friday hits, and that's about the time, you know, when the holidays here. We need to be hot for that, right?
Yeah, and again, that trend continuing of wet weeks and then very hot and dry weekends.
Beautiful. All right, thanks a lot, Ryan.